What is up, guys? CO Live here, and I know people are wondering, where's that Ratchet and Clank All for One review? I'll get down to that maybe on Tuesday. I gotta, play the game again to really get a feel for it. I haven't played it in a while. I will announce, though, my next review series after I finish the Ratchet and Clank All for One. If you guys don't know, Tuesdays and Fridays I'll be uploading videos on this channel, and you guys can probably expect, Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays, Sundays, whenever I upload on my main channel, Chase Oliver 68. With football season coming around, there's going to be a lot of videos on that channel too. So definitely check out my main channel, Chase Oliver 68. Check out my Twitter at Chase Oliver 68 for all the news about this. Tuesdays and Fridays will always be an upload here on CO Live videos for the video games that you guys like to talk about. And I think Fridays I won't do reviews because I think that's repetitive. I'll actually do subjects right now, like what I'm going to do with this video, about certain things in the gaming world that kind of bug me, or gaming world that I love. And this actually comes off a Facebook status that, if you guys know the Black Rose 1991, I'll put his link in there. He's one of those wrestling shooters that I talk to and I have on Facebook. He was trying to tell, I'm not saying his opinion's wrong, but he was trying to tell me, I think most gamers think realism is more important in a video game. I think most gamers like realism more because they can go into a world where they can enter where it's similar to their own. And I was thinking to myself, are gamers really that focused now on realism? And I kind of just want to talk about, like, to me, when I want to play a video game, is like, video games to me, when I was a little kid, I grew up playing video games like a mad shit insane person. Nowadays, when I entered high school, that's when I kind of, like, I would say my junior to senior year, video games, like the most games I would play were like the Madden sports games, some of my old PS2 games like the Ratchet and Clank series, the Jack series, and that type of deal. Those were the type of games I would play. And then what else would I play? Like Kingdom Hearts, of course. I would always play games besides just the sports games. I would always play games where it's just like, to me, like, that were fun and I could enter a world that wasn't my own. I feel, to me, that nowadays, like, I think gamers, they take stuff way too seriously and they feel realism is that important. I don't think realism in a video game is that important. I know people say, like, oh, sometimes shit in video games don't make sense. Well, video games are supposed to be entertainment. They're not supposed to make too much sense. I mean, Grand Theft Auto, to me, I love the Grand Theft Auto series. I don't mind that it feels sometimes too realistic, but the missions that you do, they're batshit insane. That's the fun part about Grand Theft Auto, when you do a mission and it's like, oh yeah, you have to blow up this fucking tank, and not only that, you have to fucking fly this helicopter inside the building or some shit. That's crazy. That's fun. That's what makes me want to play the game. I don't want to play the game because it's realistic. No, I want to play the game because it's fun. I feel that overall, a video game should not be based off of realism, and I feel realism is just kind of overrated. And to me, the only time I feel a video game series should ever feel realistic is sports games. And the reason why I feel sports games are the only ones that should feel realistic is because, let's face it, sports are always surrounded on our damn TVs. We see sports on our TVs all the fucking time. And so when you see that sport and you know how it works, it's like, damn, that should be more realistic. Damn, that should be more realistic. Okay, that's fake because, like, for anyone who has played Madden, when you're dropping back to pass and the defender jumps 8 feet in the fucking air and swats on the pass, you're like, that's fucking fake. There's no way AJ fucking Hawk can jump that high. I mean, AJ Hawk can jump high, but not 8 feet in the fucking air. I mean, we all know that. So, we always want realism in sports games. But to me, when you play a video game, I don't want it to feel too realistic where I'm just feel like I'm still in the real world. When I play video game, I want to be indulged into fantasy. I want to be indulged into what it's like, just being in a different world. I don't want to be feeling like I'm still living in the same world. That takes the fun out of the video games. I live here all the time. Why won't I just go outside instead to indulge in the real world and the realism in there, instead of living in, the realism of the video game world? You know what I'm saying? I just feel that, to me, video games, like, I don't play video games constantly. I really don't, because, like, with school coming along, most of the time the only games I do play, or it's just like, when I'm really, really bored, I just turn on my PS3 or my Xbox. I play for maybe like an hour at a time, and then I kind of just get bored and I say, oh, well, I better get back to the books. But, during the summer, video games, they keep me entertained before my friends say, hey, let's go hang out at the park, or hey, let's go outside. And when I want to play a game, it's like I don't want to play a game where I just feel like I'm living in a fake real world. I want to play a game where I'm living in a cool fantasy world with cool gadgets like Batman, Skyrim. You know what I'm saying? I just feel some people feel realism is too important in video games, and I don't think realism is that important. Like I say, I think sports games, they need to be realistic, but when it comes down to a bunch of other games like Ratchet and Clank, is that a bad game because it's not realistic? No, it's not a bad game. Jack and Dexter, is that a bad game because it's not realistic? No, that's not a bad game. And then he was saying, Call of Duty was supposed to be, like based off a real war. And to me, it's like, Call of Duty is just supposed to be a fun game. It's supposed to be just a first-person shooter. Halo's a war game if you think about it. So is Halo a real simulation of a war if we fought aliens? No, not really. Call of Duty is not supposed to feel realistic. Call of Duty is just supposed to be fun. I mean, a Reaper on a multiplayer map that size is not realistic at all. Some of the gadgets and tools or the weapons and what mods you can put on them don't feel realistic at all. So how am I supposed to feel like this is a realistic game? And some of the stuff that these people do in Call of Duty, the video games in itself, jumping from building to building, getting shot at by 8 different enemies, just takes cover once. How does that feel realistic to me? It really doesn't feel realistic to me. It feels that it's just a fun fantasy entertainment movie that I'm playing, and I'm just controlling the main characters and doing what they do. Like in all honesty, I feel realism in video games is not that hugely important. Yeah, I mean, there is a time and place for realism, but I don't think realism should be the main focus on gamers. I feel that gamers should be more into the game itself and the quality of the game, no matter if it's realistic graphic-wise or if it feels real. I feel that games that you can just have fun with are the perfect games for me. I don't feel realism should add into a factor of video games at all. I mean, maybe it does add into people's factors, but I don't know how it's like a huge factor. I feel like I said, I only feel sports games should be the more realistic games. Every other game, I feel that they just need to be more creative because really, to be honest, recently with video games, they haven't been that creative if you think about it. Most games that come out today, they just feel the same. Either like FPSs, we got our usual sports games, we got our usual RPGs that are now coming out. RPGs are coming out of the asses. I mean, seriously, I think people were like, oh, Skyrim did so good, let's just release Dragon's Amalur, all these other RPGs. It's like, shit, man, it's like RPGs. I mean, RPGs are fun, but I mean, just too many. I mean, there hasn't been games where it just feels, refreshing. I haven't really seen a game as of late that has felt refreshing. I could be wrong. There could be a game that came out. I know Spec Ops: The Line felt pretty refreshing, for a war simulation game, for a third-person shooter game. But I just feel like there hasn't been games that come out that are refreshing. I feel like every game nowadays is going to be like the same shit. Like the next game to come out that I feel refreshing in such a long time, it is not only that, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I know Sleeping Dogs came out, but I haven't had a chance to, really check out Sleeping Dogs or play it that much. So I am interested in Sleeping Dogs. I haven't played it at all, though, but if I ever get the chance to touch it, because I don't want to waste so much money on all these new games coming out. I like to get a chance to play them. But if I ever get a chance to play it, because I've heard that's very refreshing from the games we're getting today, I'll definitely check that out. But to me, I want to know from you guys, is realism that important for you when you play video games? Or do you like it where you can just have fun playing the game? What makes you feel what is a good video game? Tell me down below in the comment section. Remember to check out my main channel, Chase Oliver 68. Remember to check out, the Black Rose 1991, since he gave me that. Well, he didn't give me the idea. The status of what he said gave me the idea. But definitely check out his channel. He does good wrestling content on there if you're a professional wrestling fan. And he's the #1 WWE 13 source here on the YouTube. I know there's a lot of other people like Tubby Emu and stuff like that, but he actually goes in depth. So definitely check out his channel and follow me on Twitter. And that's about it. This is CO Live, and I'll see you all later.